Hello guys and gals, and welcome. So today we're going to be looking at another unique item, and it is called the Skin of the Flayed one. And it's funny because there's a couple items in the game that are called the Skin of, like the Skin of the Viper Magi, or the Skin of the Flayed one. And the Skin of the Viper, the Skin of the Flayed one is actually interesting because it has a couple odd mechanics. Most notably, if you look at it right here, it does say repairs durability 1 in 10 seconds, which means that you can find this ethereal and you can use it in its ethereal form, which is very, very cool. It is a nightmare level or an exceptional level armor, which means it has relatively medium defense, and it can be upgraded for a pretty large defensive bonus. It also has a very pretty, I don't know if you see, a very pretty red color to it, just in general. As you can see, I get little red tassets on my armor. I get all sorts of interesting little red highlights, like sort of on the back of the armor and whatnot. It's pretty cool the way that it makes your character red, and it works this way on just about every single character. So let's go over the mechanics on this particular piece of armor, and we'll talk about it. So right off the bat, we've got 397 defense, which does vary a little bit, the base and the percentage. We've got a strength requirement of only 50, which is not bad, and a level requirement of level 31, which is relatively low for a pretty decent defense. We've got 7% lifesteal, which makes it a pretty decent choice for a mercenary at low level, because it's going to give him some lifesteal, which is certainly nice. And you could use this on a melee character too, because of that lifesteal. It's going to help you out a lot at level 30. We also have a defense which varies from 150 to 190%, which is relatively high. And we have a Replenish Life of 15 to 25. Now this is very interesting because Replenish Life 25 is a lot. So if you were to put this on and you got yourself in a spot of trouble, Replenish Life 25 is going to give you a rather large amount of regeneration. And as you can see, with the 7% lifesteal and the Replenish Life mechanic, it actually makes a fairly good armor for Mercenary, because not only is he going to be regenerating life with the plus 25, but he's also going to be stealing life with the 7%. So not bad at all. Other than these mechanics, it does have attacker takes damage of 15, which is something most people don't care about, and repairs 1 durability in 10 seconds. Now this repairs 1 durability in 10 seconds is a very interesting mechanic, because this allows you to find it in its ethereal form. Now unfortunately I don't have the ethereal form, and when I create an ethereal version using the hero editor application, it does not give it the defense bonus that it so rightly deserves. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the calculations on this, and I'm going to tell you how much defense it has. So give me just a second here. So first thing we got to do is look up the Demonhide armor, and the base defense on the Demonhide armor is 122 to 136, which is not bad. All right, then we whip out a calculator and we run the calculations. So why not? I'll bring it up on the screen for you guys so you guys can see it. Alright, so we take the base defense of 136 and we plus 50% for the ethereal bonus, which gives us a 204. And then the 190% on the armor also has to be added after the ethereal bonus, which is right here, and we end up with an ethereal defense of 591, which is not bad at all. For a level 31 plate of armor, that level of defense plus the lifesteal plus the replenished life is actually not bad for just about anybody who might want to use this. Now, granted, there could be some better options for you. Around this level, the ever so famous stealth plate is coming into play. You're also moving into nightmare difficulty, and resistances are going to be pretty terrible. And so if you don't have good resistances, this armor might not be a good choice for you. I feel like this armor really shines just simply on a mercenary to give him the lifesteal, the defense, and the replenished life. But it still is a rather solid choice for any character who would like to build a replenished life build. That's actually a thing. Now we're going to upgrade this to the Hell difficulty version. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to see how much defense this thing gains, and the Ethereal version will actually fix itself when we upgrade it, so it should show the correct values. Now, it is important to note that when you upgrade an item, the defense re-rolls, so to keep that in mind. So to upgrade this, we are going to need a shale and a tal rune. Hopefully I have a bunch of tal runes laying around, and I do not. It's terrible. Actually, no, we don't need a shale and a tal rune. What am I thinking? This is already a nightmare version, because the nightmare version is going to require the higher runes. So we are going to need the much more rare runes to upgrade this, which is the lem and the co. So we need one co rune, and we need one lem rune. I believe I'm a little short on co's and lems. I only have one set. Let me go refresh my lemon co storage, shall I? Alright, here we go. So, we've got the lem and the co, and I've got another set of lemon co's. So we're going to upgrade this bad boy. These bad boys, actually. Now, I don't believe I finished going over the statistics of the armor, so let me go ahead and finish doing that right now. So the defense varies from 150 to 190%, which is not bad. We also have the lifesteal, which varies from 5 to 7%, so there is a bit of a variance there. I also talked about the Replenish Life variance, which is 15 to 25. So this armor actually does come in some relatively poor conditions. I mean, you could find a 5% lifesteal with 15 Replenish Life and only a like 150% ED on the armor. So if you're looking to use this for a very specific purpose, you might want to hold out until you find one that has relatively good rolls on the things that you're looking for. Like specifically, if you're looking for the Replenish Life, which is a really large amount of Replenish Life, you're probably going to want to find one that has the higher value, because 15 Replenish Life versus the 25 is a pretty big difference. And as for the Ethereal version, we know that the Ethereal version is usable by a player because, of course, it has the Repair's durability on it. So let's go ahead and we'll upgrade these. We're going to upgrade the regular one first. So we need a co and a lem and a perfect diamond. Now we go from 397, 50, 31 to 1090, 95, 58. And that's actually a fairly nice upgrade. With only a level requirement of 58 and a defense of 1090, that actually is a relatively good low-level merc armor. Although I probably wouldn't want to use this at level 58 due to being in hell difficulty at that point, and probably having massive resistance issues at this particular point in time, and this armor has no resistance issues and resistance on it, it would actually be a pretty solid choice for a mercenary around level 58 if you didn't have anything better. So let's go upgrade the Ethereal version. Let's see how much this one goes to. So the defense should fix itself when we upgrade this, and we'll get an idea of what this one is. So I believe it was 690. God, what was it that I rolled it? It was like 600 something. It's 40 strength and it's 31 level requirement, and it goes to 1,774 with a strength requirement of 85 and a level requirement of 58. So definitely a relatively easy to wear piece of equipment. The level 58 requirement is not bad. The strength requirement is only level 85, which is actually very low. I think most characters usually have at least 85 strength to wear. And I don't know. If I had this level 58 and I didn't have anything better, I would totally put this on my mercenary. The high defense combined with the lifesteal and the Replenish Life would definitely make it very useful. I feel like the main downsides to this armor are not really the amazing effects that it has. The lifesteal, the Replenish Life, and the Repair's durability, as well as the relatively high defense on this plate, are not downsides. They're actually really nice. The downsides on this really honestly seem to be the lack of resistances, as well as any real bonus for a character who specifically needs something. Like, for instance, if I was a caster class who needed faster cast, or if I was a character who needed plus to skills, or if I was specifically a character who wanted increases to my maximum resistance, like the Guardian Angel Templar coat. I mean, I like the fact that this armor has a relatively low level requirement at level 31 for the base plate and only level 58 even for the upgraded, which means it could actually come in handy as an intermediary armor between builds. And if you are specifically trying to do the Replenish Life thing. Now, the Replenish Life thing is a whole, believe it or not, it's a whole build. I've actually seen some people run max Replenish Life, where literally they have like max prayer, max like cleansing, and then because they synergize, and then they'll run both at the same time, or the cleansing, and then they'll run like the skin of the Flayed one, along with pretty much every piece of Replenished Life equipment that they can get their hands on, to the point where their life is just constantly regenerating up at a massive rate. And then what they do is they just stand there in the middle of a whole bunch of monsters just to demonstrate how massively ridiculous their Wolverine-esque regeneration powers are. And I feel like this is probably one of the good candidates for that setup. The defense on it is relatively good, the lifesteal is relatively good, and the replenished life is extremely high if you can find the extremely high version. You can also put a socket in this, so you could, for instance, throw an Umrune in there. It might be a good choice, or a perhaps if you really could get your hands on something a little bit better, though, probably a all resistances 15 in 15% IAS jewel would probably be better, because, you know, this armor seems to be more centered around melee and ranged characters. So 15% with all resistances 15 would be a better jewel, but I don't have one of those just laying around. But in the meantime, you could take an Umrune and throw it in there, then you would have all resistances 15 along with the other stats, which isn't terrible. And because it does repair durability, you'd be all right. If this was going in a mercenary, though, I would probably just take a 15% IAS jewel, and I would probably just throw it on him. I feel like this armor, with the 7% lifesteal and the replenished life, if you throw on the 15% IAS, it would actually make a pretty solid mercenary choice. And the Ethereal version in particular, with its extremely high defense, would help him out a lot. Because keep in mind, mercenaries have relatively terrible faster hit recovery, and defense will help prevent those faster hit recovery loops, which is very interesting. All in all, I'm not really sure exactly what to think of this item. I feel like there's a lot of other items that outshine it, which is its main issue. Not necessarily that it's a bad item, but that there's just, it's a very niche item for very specific builds, and it's also kind of rare. I do remember in my time, I've only found a couple of them as I've been running along, and they're almost never 7% lifesteal, 190% ED, and 25 replenished life. If I did ever find an ethereal one with perfect stats, I would hang on to it and probably use it for my mercenaries. I probably wouldn't upgrade it, though, because it is an exceedingly good mercenary armor at level 31, but it is not an exceedingly good mercenary armor at level 58. So I just don't really see the reason to do the upgrade. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even if they are about odd items like this. And if you couldn't tell, the skin of the Flayed one is kind of meant to be a direct upgrade to the Centurion, which also has Replenish Life on it. And as always, keep watching.